Hello, BookTube. This is Writing Wednesday. I don't really have a whole lot to report. I've mostly been doing idea work, although I've been absolutely enjoying it. Yeah. I think as far as Akarja the Sorcerer is concerned, I don't really have a whole lot more to add. I don't think. So I'm going to take a break, maybe look at some of what I've gotten for the characters in the next week or two, and then on July 1st start the rewrite of that story, and then work a little bit here and there on my NaNoWriMo project, which I have like the plot idea, the character idea. I don't have a title yet, and I don't quite know whether or not I'm going to try to make it a fantasy or just keep it as a realistic novel. Maybe not necessarily literary fiction, but a realistic novel. I don't think I quite have the skills yet to say it's literary fiction. But so I've been playing around with how I can add some fantasy elements to the story. Whether I could do some magical realism or fantastic realism, or like contemporary realism. It wouldn't be an urban fantasy because it wouldn't take place in an urban setting, but I don't think there actually is, because I know originally contemporary fantasy was the definition for fantasies that took place in the real world, roughly contemporaneous to the reader or to publication. But I think contemporary fantasy's since been superseded by urban fantasy, although that does tend to focus more on urban settings. So don't know necessarily if there's been sort of like a new term for contemporary fantasies that take place in, say, smaller towns or suburban locations or rural areas. It would be interesting to look up. But I think that's going to be my NaNoWriMo project. I've also been thinking of maybe making it a secondary world fantasy or a post-apocalyptic, but I haven't really made a whole lot of progress on either one. And right now I'm really more keenly interested in the more realistic side of that story. So I think at the moment, don't hold me to this, but for the moment I think I'm going to go with a more realistic setting. Yeah. And I've also been doing a lot of work on the Fates of Chaos and Scorpius. So with the Fates of Chaos, I think I have what I need. I have a strong, I think, narrative sense of what I want to do and of what the story is going to be, and a strong sense of the characters that are forming. I need to do some more work on the world building and how to really integrate the magic, the god element. So the Fates of Chaos is going to be a story featuring gods as main characters. Sort of like mythology, rather than like say the main characters being mortals, there would be gods and stuff. So I have a good idea of what I want to do with the story. I'm not entirely sure whether or how to sort of integrate like the gods. Are they like literally what they represent, or are they more like general superhumans? Now that's something I need to work on, because either option leads to certain possibilities, I think. But I'm hoping for this story to like kind of work on this until it will be like what I start in 2021, hopefully. And Scorpius, I've done a lot of work on Scorpius. I've pretty much got like 31 pages of ideas. So the big breakthrough I've made lately is that I should have started the character's career as a superhero younger. That, I mean, because my initial plan was to start his career off as he enters college, but it doesn't really quite work. I mean, because it's sort of an artificial, well, why is he starting now rather than earlier? Particularly given how I've set up his power set and his origins, why is he starting so relatively late when he would have started earlier? So I'm kind of retooling that and retooling a lot of the arcs that would go around that, and I'm quite happy with what I have so far. Although it's definitely not going to be a novel. I mean, I don't know how to really make it a novel. So that's something I need to work on of, should I cut things and try to make like a more concise narrative, or just, this is really a comic and just like write the comic scripts either as a personal project or maybe eventually finding an artist collaborator or something. So anyway, I've also been doing some rearranging in my room, and I've moved the my old notebooks. I write a lot of my ideas in these notebooks that you would use for like school and stuff, and then I write ideas down and just fill them up and then put them aside. So I had them in a box under my bed because I really didn't have any other place to put them. But I moved them to some dresser drawers on an old entertainment center. What this bookcase right here is currently resting on. And I'm thinking of going through them the next few weeks and really seeing if there are any ideas I can glean from them, and really sort of any projects that I can maybe restart as I have time for them. But anyway, so that's been my writing update for this fortnight, I guess, since I didn't make one last week. So I don't know if I'll make one next week or not. I guess it depends what I have going on and whether there's really anything useful or interesting to report. So until tomorrow, BookTube, thank you. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe if you are going out. Remember to take precautions. If you are protesting, please stay safe. And I will see you next time.